So here I am, up on my balcony, or what will be my balcony, when we finished building the house, which is taking a long time. I feel I've shown you quite a lot of my house and garden in these videos, so I thought I'd give you a rooftop scan view of the garden. Oh, as it is, it takes quite a lot of work to go. See if you can see Caleb and Karis. So there's my dad's van and his plant stall out the front at the road. Very quiet road. There's the greenhouse and the shed. Hey, give us a wave. Thank you, Dawn and John, for the trampoline. It's getting a lot of use. Carry on round. There's the old shed, which we're going to be taking down. And round to the cabin. That's where we used to live before we had bedrooms in the house. And the chickens you met in a previous video. So there you go. A little view of our kingdom from above. Now on with the story. I'm going to ask you a very personal question. Have you ever told a lie to get yourself out of trouble? Or have you ever let anyone down? Maybe family? Maybe your friends? I know I have. Now you think about the story from last week where Jesus was on the beach with his disciples, making them breakfast. Well, this week we're going to look at the next little bit of that story and what happened between Peter and Jesus. Now Peter, he's most people's favourite of the disciples, because Peter was an all or nothing kind of guy. He was all about the drama and the dramatic statements. He was a speak first, think later kind of guy. And he was one of the first disciples to be called, and that in itself was quite interesting because, you see, rabbis, so the leaders, the religious leaders at the time, they often had disciples, but to be called as a disciple, you had to pass lots and lots of tests, years of study, and Peter won't have done that because he was a fisherman, and fishermen, they dropped out of the study a long time back, so he wasn't the brightest, he wasn't the best, he wasn't the richest, he wasn't the anythingist, really. He was the kind of guy that nobody thought that much of, and yet he became one of these famous disciples. And he made these huge statements to Jesus, and it was amazing, and his life had changed. But something happened, and we need to think back to before Jesus was crucified. So, Jesus has been arrested and Peter follows at a safe distance because who knows what's going to happen. And it's dark and it's scary and everyone's very unsure. And Peter's warming himself by a fire because he's cold. It's a cold time. And someone else who's warming themselves at the same fire looks at him and says, "Hang on, don't I know you? Aren't you? You're one of Jesus' disciples." No, I'm not, says Peter. No. Keep his head down. Hope no one notices. Might get in trouble. And someone else says, "Nah, yes, you are. I recognise you. I'm sure you're one of his disciples." No, I've never met him. Don't know him, says Peter. And for a third time, someone looks to him and says, Yes, you are. You're one of his followers. I know your Galilean accent. No, I've never met him. No, don't know him at all. No clue who he is, says Peter. 3 times, Peter denies that he even knows Jesus. Jesus, who he said he'd die for, that he'd follow to the ends of the earth, that he wouldn't let wash his feet. And he denies that he even knows him. That's a really big letdown. That's a really big thing to forgive. So here we are, over 2,000 years later. It's a different country, it's different times, but people, we're still the same. We still make the same mistakes, we still hurt people, we still let people down, and we still need to forgive people. Are you any good at asking for forgiveness? Are you any good at forgiving people? Now have a look at the story today and listen to what Jesus says to Peter. Peter who's let him down so badly, who's hurt him so much. Not only does Jesus forgive Peter, but he builds the new church on him. Now, the interesting thing is that Peter wasn't really called Peter. He was really called Simon. And the name Peter has a very real and good meaning. Now, do you know anyone called Peter? I do. Loads of people. My brother is called Peter. My husband's middle name is Peter. And Caleb, my son, his middle name is Peter too. And Peter can have two meanings. Number one, the rock. A heavy, rough rock on which you could build something, that you could start a house with. The rock. That's a manly, masculine name, isn't it? But it can also mean a polished and perfect and precious stone. Also a rock, if you like a diamond or a precious gem. Maybe Jesus meant both of those things for Peter. A rock, rugged and rough to build the future on, but also a precious and a beautiful thing that Jesus valued and Jesus forgave, even when Peter let him down at the most important time. So have a look at the story, see what you think, see if you can think what Peter would have been feeling, what Jesus would have felt, and this moment on the beach where Jesus forgives and makes Peter a better person for the rest of his life. So I think we're going to pray today together. Now, we haven't tried this before, so I've got a prayer, and hopefully I can get it on the screen and we can pray this together. You ready? Dear God, when we are frightened, please help us. When we don't know what to do, please help us. When we are tempted to lie, please help us. When we let our friends and family down, please help us. When we are sorry and want to make amends, please help us. Amen.